Can you tell me a little bit about working with Lefteye? Because I know she was at the label at the same time you were. Do you have any stories or insights about Lefteye you can give
The
us?
first thing I would say when you bring her name up, after I say rest in peace to the late great Lisa Liefteye Lopes, is just the irony of how much the homie neighborhood Nip the Crip, the Keyway Christ, highlighted the journey and life of and the work of Dr. Sebi. One of the things I can recall way long ago, um, Suge called us to a late night meeting at the office at the Row. It was a odd occurrence, and we got there. It was something that Lefteye had set up, and it was Dr. Sebi. And we was in the office. He came out. The floor was kind of like a hard floor, like cement with a thin carpet on it. I remember he started his presentation by walking out and falling on his knees. He was like, I'm 69 years old. When I was 39, I couldn't do that. And he gave us all this health talk that we saw become popular over the next decade and a half on the internet. I got that presentation in a private meeting late night because of Lisa Liefteye Lopes. I also very humble and feel honored to have been able to work with her in the, as a writer. We did a project. I think her record was called Two Street for TV, and Suge allowed me to write a verse, Crooked Eye to write a verse, and Eastwood to write a verse on her song. And one thing I can share with you guys that's just a fond memory. That's just remind you of her personality. Oh, two things I'll share. While working on the record, you know, because of my image, my style, she was like, can you just do me a favor if you make any reference to any like guns or violence? Can you make it be like a metaphor for my lyrics? Because Suge was like changing her name and changing her image, and she was real concerned with him just manipulating her whole public persona. And she was like concerned that we was gonna try to make her too grimy. And I thought that was kind of cute. And the main thing I thought that was very funny, when I first met her, you realize how she's like bite-sized. She's like tiny. So me being somewhat of a comedian, and when I first met her, I'm like, hey, so I say, damn, I say, you that little and you trying to burn somebody's house down? She was, and her response was like, trying. I was like, oh, she a fool. Yeah, rest in peace, sweetheart. We love you.
Okay. Did Suge bring anybody else in at the time to write with her that you can remember any stories of? I think he had maybe brought the realist, or he was trying to bring some
Well,
people
shout
in
out to the
to help
realest.
with Left Eye.
Shout out to the realist, because I can't recall if he was doing anything directly with her. However, he was around. You could tell that he once was very familiar with having the spotlight with him around there. Because when he came around, he had a lot of respect and rapport with all the engineers, the office people, and he was assistive in a lot of little shit that was going on. But I can't really recall if he was doing anything directly related to her left eye.
Okay. And was it public knowledge with the artist that Suge and Left Eye were dating at the time, or not really?
Yes and no. Like, yeah, it was obvious. Yeah, yeah, 'cause, yeah. It was
Okay.
obvious because left eye, when shit wasn't right, you could tell too. You could tell when shit was right too. Yeah. She'd be sitting on Cuz lap and shit like that, and you know, picking in his face, doing shit your little boo would do. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Anything else pop out in as it pertains to Left Eye?
Um, just that she looked like she was 19. She was pretty as fuck. She looked so pure, like no blemishes. Like you would think that it looks like that because it's on TV, but she was like that up close, real life in her face. She looked perfect. She had a glitch. She had a tweak. Cause I remember it was a time where all around the death row office, she was taking all the paintings and like slightly leaning them off a little bit.
Can you tell me about how you found out that she had passed and what your reaction to it was? Was she gone from the label for a while before this happened, or did this kind of just happen right away, abruptly?
It's like a blur at this point. I can't tell you how I found out, but I can tell you how it was real surreal and eerie to have gotten that familiar with someone so high profile, and then them just be affiliated with her. Just like what's the little dude they used to fuck with the famous F, the famous people that got that F, the white boys, that famous brand. They had a little partner that was in their crew. They used to live in my building in the marina, little white dude. And he was like a little bitty dude. And he used to always be high as fuck. That's how he used to first used to try to give me a gang of opiates. I didn't know what they was. I want that shit. But I remember he gave me like some home studio shit. But he used to always invite me to come to the studio with people named Blink or something. Blink 82. I used to like, man, I ain't going to that shit, man. I'm looking at his image and thinking whatever that is, that ain't my type of shit. So I used to always turn it down, not knowing. I used to have boxes and boxes of that famous shit before anybody had ever seen it. I swear to God, he used to just give us that shit. And then he died too in like a airplane, like similar to Lefteye. That kind of fucked me up too, man. He was a cool, I think his name was Lil Chris. I don't want to misquote his name. I can't remember his name. But yeah, that was like unreal. Like, you know, the way Aaliyah died, Lisa Liefteye Lopes, Lil Chris. It's not shit you expect. It was kind of shocking.
Yeah. Can you talk to me about what happened at Death Row with you and Swoop G in the parking lot?
Man, it was just my naivety, being a square, not realizing how common cocaine going up people's nostrils was. That nigga was in the parking lot doing lines and he's offering me some. I got offended, got mad at cuz. And I think I went and told Suge, I'm like, man, this bitch ass nigga over there doing pot. He had like a Bible. And then he had the lines on the Bible and he was like separating them. He was like, some is Tony Montana. Some is Tony Montana. All right, man, we don't do that bullshit around here, nigga. Woo, woo, woo. So I had came up there to get a check. So yeah, that's what happened. I pulled in the parking lot. He was in the parking lot. He told me that. When I went upstairs to get the check, I told cuz, and then my thing was to go, it was like a time, hurry up, go cash the check and come back. So I left to go cash the check. And as I was coming back, pulling up in the parking lot, it's commotion. Suge running up to me like, man, I just filed on that nigga Swoop G. He was like pumped up. He was bragging to me that he like just filed on Swoop G. So I just followed suit. I just got off on him too and just drilled him up real good. EC Crib. Shout out Swoop G though. My mama. I talked to him a gang times after that. It ain't like it's nothing that was help. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Going back real quick, and I'll put this before this previous question that we asked, but I wanted to ask you about a situation where Suge had wanted, I mean, I'll let you tell it, but basically Suge had wanted people to throw bottles at 50 at a House of Blues concert. Can you tell me about that meeting and how that went?
Yeah, that's another ironic moment in the saga of my journey in hip hop, going from Suge to 50, because first time 50 Cent played the House of Blues, once he dropped his first album with Dr. Dre, Suge was irritated to the point where this is some old booth shit. Like, I tell you how, you know, on the back burner, and then when you get a call, you thinking it's triggering your momentum, but you already get called for some bullshit. It was get called for the diss record. And then I remember one night we get late, he called us late night, me and the Booyah Tribe nigga. Shout out to the Booyah Tribe. Rest in peace, Gangsta Red. And they also was like on the back burner, not getting much like time over there. So they was pumped up too. When we get called, come to the Beverly Hills Hotel. Suge had a bungalow. People that don't know, the Beverly Hills Hotel is a real high-end hotel. And the higher end of the hotel, they're like separate little units, little bungalows where it's private. Suge had one of them, and it was back in the early 2000s. And if y'all that know, whenever the Lakers went to the finals, I remember Lakers was in the finals. So we go in the meeting, we thinking he finna tell us about a plan or how he finna get us going with the music. And this nigga tell us, he like, yeah, this what's going on. This nigga 50 Cent nigga coming to House of Blues. He was like, the nigga Dre bought up all the tickets and gave them to the radio station, so there ain't no tickets for sale, but I got somebody got me some tickets. He was like, they don't sell no beer and bottles on hip hop nights in the House of Blues. He was like, they only sell bottles of champagne. He was like, I'll give y'all some money for some champagne bottles, but I want to know if y'all get some of y'all little homies to go in there. And when that nigga take the stage, just get to throwing the bottles at that nigga on the stage, right? Like, so we like nodded at him, like, we gonna see what we can do and shit. We walked out the hotel. We was like, man, that nigga got us fucked up. I ain't finna do no bullshit like that. And then I just like reflect again on like, had I participated in something of that nature, whether the opportunity would have presented itself or not, the type of individual I am, I would have never went to even see about the opportunity that I ended up having. So I just thank God that that's not something I participated in, because I would have chose sides and I would have never felt comfortable or even thought about being an ally to that side. So that was interesting to me as well. I also got to work with Eddie Griffin on that. I don't want to leave that out, on that Dysfunctional soundtrack. Shout out to Eddie Griffin. That was a real a moment that I cherish in my career, the way that went off.